am with Unrealistic Podcast. Today, I have Akash and Aman here. This is the only podcast brought to you by Savages for Savages. All right, early morning motivation from us three. To be honest, we just did what? How many push-ups did we do yesterday? 20. Today we did what? 40.
40 in full button downs.
In full button downs.
We're fucking savages.
Blocks and everything.
Yeah.
Tell me what normal person does that.
I don't know. I mean,
I can only think of savages.
I don't think I'm normal then. But what I was gonna bring up was ego. Like Akash was saying yesterday, you have to put it to the side, right? But there's gonna be three types of egos that come along. There's three people that will have ego because they're trying to inspire someone, but they go a little too far and say they're not gonna be the leader. When you have an ego, you're not kind of acting like as that commanding officer, or you're not acting like that manager that has everything intact. You don't want to be a boss. You want to be a leader. So the difference between a boss and a leader is that the boss will tell you to do stuff. The leader will tell you, how can we sit down together and find a solution to something? So you want to be that problem solver within your team and having that mindset to where they come first, someone else comes first, my employees come first. And then don't even look at them employees, look at them as investments. Because even if you're working at a fucking fast food restaurant, believe it or not, these employees are investments for these people. They're liabilities. So going into whether it be a startup, whether it be anything, like us three are partners right now. So you guys are all liabilities for all of us. We're all liabilities in this business, So when we wake up, Akash said the other day, I woke up late. Rather than just me doing push-ups, I called Aman out, even though I didn't have to. And Aman got up, he said, fuck it, I'll do push-ups. Then Akash joined. What did that show me is that you guys actually care about me to where you guys weren't gonna let me do it alone. You guys weren't gonna let the fucking one person fall overboard. You guys fell overboard together. You guys let the ship sink. But at the end, when I look at that, the ship didn't really sink. The ship came back up afloat when all of us decided to, drop down and give each other 20. Not because, again, you guys didn't bring in that ego, you guys were inspiring me in the right way. Don't inspire someone by telling them what to do. Inspire them by showing how to do it, and then make them do it 10 times better. All right, that's how you kill your own ego. That's how you boost not another person's ego, but you're boosting their confidence. So there's a difference between that ego and confidence. Is because, again, when you're being that boss, when you have that role to where you're in charge of these employees, you don't want to come off so aggressive to the point where they're kind of hating you. Yeah, you want them to hate you because they work for you, but that hate needs to turn into some type of motivational love to where they don't want to let you down. So, I mean, I'm saying it in a very, sus way probably, but I do love you guys, bro. You guys are my fucking brothers, to where I see you guys every morning, and I would not have the motivation to even do fucking 40 push-ups today if we didn't all wake up late. Yeah, we did wake up late, but again, the ship didn't sink. We kept each other afloat. So, I mean, again, that's just the gist of my whole little spiel here. I didn't want to go on for too long.
There was this meme that I saw one time where it was like exactly the thing you were talking about, right? It was like a bunch of fucking people pulling a block, and a boss. The difference between a boss and a leader is the boss is sitting on top of that block, whipping those motherfuckers like, yo, you need to fucking work harder. And a leader is like, and then it showed the exact same thing, and the leader is fucking pulling that block with them.
Exactly. And then when people actually do get into that state, and when people actually do get into that managerial role, or like that, boss role, CEO, whatever, they kind of forget. They let that, that get to their head. So that's another reason why a lot of businesses kind of fail, because the boss or the person that started it lets the money, lets the fame, lets anything that was driving him before kind of go down the hole. So
they think like this is below me.
Yeah. You never want to be able to do that. And another thing about ego is that when somebody calls you out on ego, you kind of set yourself back, and you're like, wow, hold on, do I really? And then when you actually find out that that person wasn't lying, I do have one. I need to fix that shit ASAP. So I'm gonna explain to where my ego was, and where it came from, and how it kind of got destroyed into a million pieces on the spot. So 2019 March, I moved to San Diego off the whim, right? Said fuck it, moved. I moved there with Aman and some other people. Now, when I moved there, that was the first time I moved. I've never lived anywhere else in my life. Never lived out of my parents' house. So I went to San Diego and I felt like a fucking boss, you know? I felt like a badass. I was like, fuck this, yo, I'm in a different state, city, whatever. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I don't have to listen to anybody. Amon's not my dad. Next thing I know, I crashed my car. All right, in a different city, different state. I'm like, fuck, what do I do? So Amon's driving me home one day, and we're in the same car, and something happens with one of our teammates, just one of our other team members, and Amon's like yelling at him, and I'm like in the passenger seat, I'm like, Amon, you should take it easy on him. He goes straight up to me, he goes, don't tell me how to run my team, don't tell me how to run my business. I was like, okay, my bad, right? I stepped back, but I understood where he was coming from because, again, he knows what he's doing. I'm on his team too. He's taking care of me. He's gonna be. It's motivation, you know. So again, he wasn't like telling him to do anything. That team member, what he was actually telling him to do was like, you need to get your shit straight. Because I know that guy. I remember the story. But when I told him you need to take it easy on him, he goes, don't get into my business. I was like, fuck. And I just kept going too. And I was like, fuck it, you know, like Amon, like he wasn't wrong. He wasn't doing anything. But Amon's like, bro, you have an ego. You can't tell me how to run my shit. All right. I was like, fuck. Because my tone was pretty shitty too. I'm not gonna lie. My tone was, I was like, bro, like you can't do that. You're not the boss of anybody. You're not somebody's dad. You know, I said those words to him. And Amon, you know, obviously being in the position where he was a little bit higher up than me. He straight up said, bro, you're being egotistic right now. And I was like, fuck. Did he just say that to me? And I kind of I had to regroup myself in my head. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I have been a little too cocky. Maybe I have been a little too overconfident. Coming in thinking like, yo, I did the most badass shit in my life, you know? But no, that's not how it works. You have to go with the flow. How Akash was saying yesterday is that even when you're in a different fucking state of mind, put yourself back into that flow, get back into it, and then let yourself prosper that way. Because once you're focused on so many things like, yo, I just moved to a new city, this new office is dope, I just crashed my fucking car, I didn't die. Like, yo, I'm letting all this confidence get to me. Like, yo, I just lost my car, but fuck it, you know, I'm still alive. I literally thought that. Next thing I know, I had pink eye, I had an infection, ear infection, 2 concussions I'm dealing with.
And AIDS.
No AIDS, thank God. But my thing is, but that's my thing. Like, you can't overconfidence yourself. You can't let that ego fill you up and tell you like, yo, you're doing the right thing. When obviously the other people around you are telling you, yo, you're doing the wrong thing, but you're not listening to them because, again, your mindset is not straight. So again, what destroyed it for me was watching how Amon kind of carried himself around the office, how he talked with people, how he communicated with everybody. This motherfucker's tall, so he uses his hands, and I'm just like, bro, you're gonna go swinging, I'm gonna go low, you're gonna go high, you know? But like, again, I had to really, really like evaluate where I was gonna stand in this position to where if I want to stay with Amon or if I want to stay with the team, how the fuck am I gonna cooperate? So I had to really like tell myself, okay, you know what? Have fun in what I'm doing. Start off with that. That's the first thing I told myself. Second thing I told myself was put myself in a corner and just evaluate everyone, see what they're doing. And that's when I kind of realized that you really can't give a fuck what they're doing. Just do what you're doing, all right? And keep yourself in that flow. And
I think it comes down to priorities. That's what
for sure. Again, you have to prioritize everything that's in your life. Like waking up this morning late, what happened to us? We all felt like shit, right? Okay, because this was a priority. We had to wake up because we knew that we had shit to get done. Okay, that's why it felt like shit. Because we prioritized waking up early. I mean, me personally, I do not. You guys do, and I commend you guys on that. I'm the one that should be doing the push-ups. But again, as a team, putting our egos aside, y'all's egos aside, you guys come together and say, fuck that. We all fucked up instead of one person.
Let me chime in on that. So just to give you all a little bit of a backstory. So we normally, anytime, like we have certain rules, right? So for example, in the morning, you have to send a picture of your made bed before 5 a.m. Because like we all wake up before 5. So we, you know, because we start we do like an hour of study time and like try to get a workout in, all that shit. And then we start work at 7. So in order to start work at 7, you got to wake up before 5 if you're trying to get your, you know, exercise and your fucking reading or studying or whatever fuck in the morning. So the rule is whoever doesn't send that shit in, blah blah, has to do, you know, 10 push-ups the first time, 20 push-ups second time, 30 push-ups, you know, and then it increases by 10 every time and then resets at the end of the month. But like we said, I mean, one of my favorite
We're lucky as fuck that it's the end of the month, all right? Let's say
we're lucky today's the last day of the month, but
is it?
It's not, it's on Saturday.
It's not. Yeah, man.
Okay.
It's not even Halloween yet, bro.
So
Say, man.
you're looking out for unrealistic tomorrow and the next day to see if we do 50 and 60.
Right, but I mean, where I was going is like my fucking favorite thing about this team is like if one person's doing push-ups, like we don't just like fucking let Umar sit there and do push-ups and laugh at him. Me and Aman drop on the ground and do push-ups with him too. Because if he fails, it's not like he failed. Like we're a team, bro. Like we all win together, we lose together, we live together, we die together, right? Like so it's fucking. There's no point. If Umar, I mean, it's not like we don't want to reinforce the belief that if Umar doesn't perform, it's on him. If Umar doesn't perform, it hurts all of us. And so it's the same shit. So it's like it's not like. So you need to get into that mindset as a leader, right? That's where we're talking about like leader leads from the front, leader leads by example. Like if you're responsible for it, so you're not just responsible for yourself anymore.
How if Omer doesn't wake up, then we all do push-ups, or like if I don't send my specific journal in as by a specific time, then we all do push-ups. It's like it's not like, oh shit, that's Omer's fault, because it's so easy to say. Like as a leader, as a leader, it's so easy to say, oh, that's Omer's fault. There's nothing I could have done. But at the end of the day, you really have that self-realization and you actually start to think like a business owner and as an entrepreneur and as a leader, just in general, you don't have to be an entrepreneur for this. As a leader, at the end of the day, if you think about it, everything is your fault. And when you start thinking like that is when you'll actually start to see success.
It's that sense of accountability, that comes with the responsibility, that comes with your priorities that you set for yourself. It's just you have to be accountable for your actions, That's the one thing that you can measure is your actions. Are you putting in the work? Are you putting in the effort at the end of the day? Like you have to ask yourself these questions. Like at the end of the day, when we're talking to ourselves, when we're putting in our KPIs, guys, like we don't ask ourselves probably these questions, but we know like we had a great day. Like we have like great fucking day and it's still 0, but in our minds, in our hearts, like let's say we close out a client, damn, that's a great day, pat yourself on the back, but the job's not done. We just signed a global client. All right, great, awesome, guys, great news in the morning, but job's not done, bro. Job's not done. That's how you gotta have to like keeping yourself accountable, because we have these goals written down. We have our 5 close clients, 10 close clients, 10K a month type goals, but again, our actions, the fact that we don't wake up in the mornings, we're not getting closer. Those 5 clients, they're still there. They're still out there that we don't have. If we don't wake up in the morning, that 10K a month is not in the bank. It's still out there. We still have to chase it. So waking up in the morning and not waking up in the morning on time is keeping you 1% back. And what Aman always talks about is 1% gains. So don't put yourself 1% back by not waking up early. Put yourself 100% forward by waking up earlier than the time they set. Like Aman and Akash, these motherfuckers, they go after each other. They bet each other like, yo, I'm gonna wake up before you. I'm just like, fuck, I wish I could do that, But it motivates me. It does. And this morning when I read Akash's text, I was like, bro, I'm up before Aman. That never happened. Something's definitely up. Something's definitely wrong here, Something's wrong here. Something's not like right. Something's wrong. Like WRONG. I woke up fucking scared. I was like, bro, Aman's not up. Something has to be fucking wrong. This motherfucker just got shot. I'm telling you. I was scared. But again, that's where it's the fear of that's the fear as well, like of a failure for us. We talked about that in the other podcast, how everybody kind of fails to everybody's scared to fail. But that's the thing that comes with like having your own business as well. But it's also the accountability. If you have a schedule and you're dead set on it and you hold yourself accountable every morning to wake up at this time, it's not a guarantee, but it's not a guarantee for success, but it's getting you closer to it. So these are the steps you have to take. So when I listen to these guys say, yo, I'm gonna wake up this fucking time because I'm gonna kick your ass, I'm just like, damn, bro, these motherfuckers want it. These guys want it. So it's not just a want or a need. It's like it's gonna get it done. They're gonna have it. I know they are. I know their goals. They're gonna fucking get it because of the way they talk, because of the way they walk, because of the way we fucking do our work.
Just real quick, guys. What's our goal in 30 years?
Buying the Houston Rockets.
Fucking Houston Rockets.
All right, cool. I just want to
buying the Houston Rockets. Again, when I hear that stuff, I'm not even into basketball.
Hey, dude,
but when I hear about a league, I hear like a national league, and they're like trying to buy a team from a national league. I'm just like, damn. That's a freaking that's a goal. Yeah, it sounds unrealistic, but what is this podcast called? Unfucking realistic, all right? So we make the fucking unrealistic goals that are in our minds and our hearts and our dreams and everything, and we were working for them because that's where we're up this fucking early to make that goal happen. All right. I mean, yeah, you probably hear this a lot of this shit from Gary Vee. You know, he tells himself he's gonna buy the New York Jets. But watch this, bro. I'm pretty sure. How about this, bro? I want to bet Gary Vee that we could get there too. All right. I want to buy the Rockets the same day he buys the New York Jets. All right. I want to get to that level.
He has like a 20-year head start on us, but.
Does not matter, but that's the thing. Like we're up this early for a reason. We probably won't be, but we have these goals set to where we know what we want. You know, it's a clear eye view. We're in that flow. Keep yourself in that flow. Don't let your fucking ego get in to where if you have employees, again, treat them the way you would want to be treated as an employee. But also like
it's also about like commitment, right? And
yeah, it's committed goals.
It's like so what I mean by that is this is something that that I hear a lot from a lot of these motivational speakers and just successful people, you know, when they try to explain their message and they say either you succeed as a team or you all fail as individuals. There's no middle ground. There's a misconception that, oh, you know, Omar and Akash could fail as individuals, but I'll be successful as an individual. In this mindset, once you create that mindset that either there's no middle ground, either you succeed as a team or you fail as an individual. Which one are you going to choose? Choice is up to you, right?
And
100%.
I think that like an important concept to pay attention to is the concept of like a servant leader. Like your job, as the higher you rise in whatever role you're in, your job is not to order around the people below you. It's to serve them. So you're taking care of. So your job is to make their lives as easy as possible. So like you're taking on more responsibility. You're taking on more accountability. You should as a leader, you should always strive to be outworking. You know what I'm saying? You don't tell anyone to do anything unless if you're not working twice as hard, right? And that's kind of the mentality that we take here internally. And the other thing that like both of my partners are always talking about is extreme ownership, right? If someone doesn't show up to work on time or if someone doesn't wake up on time, it's not their fault. It's okay. It's always you have to put it's your responsibility. Like, okay, what should I have done differently? Maybe I didn't communicate clearly enough, you know, how important it is that we all wake up on time. Maybe I didn't, what more can I do? Because as soon as you surrender control, that's when you go into victim mentality and it's like, oh man, the world is happening to me. Like my life sucks, blah, blah, blah. Like it happens to everyone, bro. Like you know what I'm saying? Your job at night, like 2% of life is what happens to it. And like 98% of life is how you react to it, right? So it's, like when you get into a frame of like, what more can I do? And the easiest example that we always use is whenever people are like, oh, blah, 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 traffic, there was an accident, I couldn't, blah, blah, there's nothing. You always don't ever put the blame on me. I should have, left earlier to account for something not going according to plan. There should have been a buffer, I fucked up. Well, and at the same time, you don't have to like kill yourself. Like, man, I'm the worst. It's just like, okay, cool, I fucked up. I learned from it. It won't happen again. And that's all every time we fuck up, it's like, again, we say this all the time. I don't want to hear excuses, bro. Like anything.
No, for sure.
So it's like, if you have a KPI that you're trying to hit, if you don't hit it, it's like, okay, why didn't you hit it? Oh, if you start blaming other things that like, I'm gonna cry. Like it's literally just.
The only correct answer in that situation is I fucked up. That is the only correct answer in that situation.
I mean, at some times, like, there's been so many situations where not even this year, but in life, you're going to have to kind of, again, tell yourself, yo, I'm going to have to take this L and move on, you know? But what is failure? Like, again, don't be scared to fail at that task because you got, again, yesterday we talked about fail. What it means is it's an acronym. It means first attempt in learning. So if you fail at something multiple times, like me personally, like waking up on time, but these guys keep me accountable again, but I'm going to talk about something else. Like, let's say a test in school, right? First test in the semester comes up and you bomb it. You fucking fail. All right. Next test comes up but you failed because you didn't study that night. You know, you didn't study for it. So the next test comes around. This time you're more prepared. You know you studied. You know you got your shit done in the beginning. You did your homework, all that stuff. That test comes up, the second one, and you pass it. Now, what was the difference there? Again, you have to correlate things. You have to measure your performance, measure your tasks on what you're doing. those KPIs that we fill out every day, those needles we see in the yellow and stuff, it's to motivate us. Once it's in the green, we know we're like fucking like zooming past, you know? Right now we're in the yellow, so we're a little slow. But no, when it's in the green, we know like shit's going right. Now there's this quote about ego that I want to just get out right there real quick. It's, do not walk proudly on this earth. You can neither tear this earth apart, nor can you rival the mountains in height. What that means is basically you gotta humble yourself. You can't walk on this earth so proudly. Like, and I don't want to bring any religion into this or anything, but in Islam, men can't wear gold. You know, I don't know if you guys know that, but men can't wear gold, and there's a reason for it. It's because when a man or anybody that wears gold, they kind of like put themselves in like a higher status place, right? You never want to put yourself in a higher status. You want to have that feeling inside. You want to have that status maybe in your work and stuff, but you never want to display it to the public to where they see like this douchebag walking on the road that has a gold necklace on and says, yo, like I fucking own this shit. You know, I own this sidewalk that I'm walking on. No, you can't have that. Okay. You can't break, you know, these mountains in height at all.
I mean, there's a thing that anytime you see someone doing worse than you, it's always like, but for the grace of God, there go I. That could have been you, bro. Anytime I see a homeless person, like, if I had to deal with all the shit that he had to deal with, I probably would have been, you know what I'm saying? I would have done the same thing. Like,
yeah.
People don't just make, that's why I'm not, again, like a huge fan of the concept of heaven or hell. Because like I think it's crazy to just say that some people are just bad people. Like it's all a function of ignorance. It's a function of everyone is a function of the awareness, the opportunity, the talent, and the will that they've been given. If you don't have the will, like or you just are ignorant to like what, you know, maybe there's more that you could do, and you just don't know that. You're a function of your circumstances, it's a function of your expectations, and so to say that some people are just bad people. So that's why when you're treating, like whether you're talking to a janitor or you're talking to a CEO, you treat them with the same level of respect. That's why I don't 100%. Idolize anyone, but I also don't look down on anyone. Like no matter what level of business owner I'm talking to, I'm gonna talk to every single person with the same level of respect, because again, I firmly believe that other than maybe like LeBron James, who's just, I love him, but other than LeBron James, bro, like there is no one on this earth that is better than me. They just think something that I'm not thinking, they believe something I'm not believing, they do something I'm not doing, or they work longer than me. They're you know what I'm saying?
Quick question though. So you singled out LeBron. What's special about LeBron?
You're right.
Why LeBron? I know you were trying to make a joke on it, but like, is there
I don't know
like,
if he's gonna get into a basketball debate or not.
was he given God-given talent?
I don't believe in talent. You're right. I don't believe in talent. Yeah. Like I don't believe in talent. It's literally, there's no such thing as talent. And like you'll hear every single person, it's no such thing as talent. It's always commitment. Like who can commit harder, 100%. Who can work longer. And like you hear about the 10,000 hour rule, right? So there's no, and that Malcolm Gladwell talks about this in the book Outliers. Like none of these people are geniuses. They just put themselves in a position that they've immersed. They put 10,000 hours into whatever their craft is, and then they become the best.
Okay, so again, when you said
is like 3 hours a day for 10 years. So like if you put 10 hours and 10 years into whatever, you will be, suddenly people will be like, you're talented. You hear, we were watching a Gary Vee video yesterday, and he was like, he's like, dude, I fucking punted my 20s. Like I didn't do shit Monday through Saturday. I was fucking working, and Sundays I watched football. You know, Monday through.
No, he actually said Monday through Sunday.
He was at the liquor store every single day, and then now whenever people like he went to school with like message him like, oh bro, you're so lucky, blah blah blah, like yeah, okay, he literally has to respond because he gets so fucking mad whenever people tell him that luck has nothing to do with it, bro. Luck has nothing to do with it. It was because whenever that motherfucker was out partying or hanging out or, you know, fucking bitches on the beach, like Gary was working, bro. Like Gary was grinding, and now like, you know what I'm saying? Don't prioritize the short term for the long term. You know, like
ego will also, again, this whole concept was about ego, but they also mentioned in that video that ego kills your long-term goals. So if you have long-term goals, like you're holding yourself back with that, you know, like whether it be self-doubt, whether it be over self-confidence, overcompensating certain things that don't matter, you know. Gary Vee talks about control things that you can control, you know? Control the controllable and fuck the uncontrollable, all right? I've heard that many times. I've heard of being proactive rather than reactive. All these things come into the play of having to destroy that ego that you have built inside. And again, when you guys talk about accountability, it's just these long-term goals. Like that buying the rockets is a long-term goal, all right? So us, again, we have destroying that ego, destroying all of that little, like, that self, admiration that we have inside ourselves, that we admire ourselves, or, you know, that we're on top of the world type shit. No, that you need to let all of that go. Yeah, you can be on top of the world when we've reached that goal. When we've bought the Houston Rockets and we're sitting in that stadium in the middle, be like, yo, we own this bitch. And when we do own that shit, that's when you can tell yourself, yeah, you can sit down in that fucking front row and be like, yeah, play for me now, you know? You can say that shit.
Something
you
else
hit the play button
all the time is like, say you are talented at something, like you have a little bit of, more often than not, that's honestly such a disadvantage. It's a burden, bro. Like, I'll give you my story. I've always been good in school, right? But it was not like that talent. What it deprived me of is like, I was like, oh, okay, cool, I don't have to work hard. You know what I'm saying? I can fucking blah, blah, blah. So like, I completely, like, whenever you're talented at something, you start to convince yourself that like you can get by with less. Like, oh, like for example, like you see players like Andrew Wiggins, bro. Super physically talented, but he doesn't work hard as a Kobe fucking Bryant, because Kobe knew he didn't have the other advantages. So Kobe literally just had to, like, there's no room for error whenever. So when you start giving yourself like, oh, I have a buffer, like I can get away with it. Talent is really a fucking burden. Like, for example, if you see people who are like not in shape and then they start working out or whatever, and then they kind of get to an average level, it's not like they get to that average level and then they stop. Now they're at this average level, but they have all the fucking habits of that. They just dug themselves out of the hole. So their momentum. So like, whenever you drop a bouncy ball, bro, like it bounces and that ball, motherfucker, shoots up. Like when you're falling, when you're in a hole, whatever constraints you have, like if you're stupid, okay, cool. That you got to develop work ethic to make up for that. Being dumb as shit. That work ethic is gonna take you much farther than someone who's smart and is not working hard. Like, work hard. I mean, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And people say that all the time, but I think the second thing to that quote should be like, it's really, really, really tough for talent to work hard. Like talent always convinces itself that it doesn't need to work hard. Because like
talent, hard work always will overlook talent.
Like the easiest thing is like whenever you look at child movie stars, bro, almost none of them make it out alive. Like it's almost like no one makes it out. Like when you feel like you're winning before, so like your adversities, your constraints, your weaknesses, those are honestly gonna be your greatest strength, because like when you work at your weaknesses, like for example, we're not good. So the reason that we're doing this podcast really is not for y'all, it's kind of for us, because we're not good at public speaking. If we were good at public speaking, this wouldn't have been a priority. But like, okay, cool, now we need to work on our public speaking. Now this is something that, because this is something that was a weakness, now it's something that we're actually working at, something that's actually like on something. And now like in 5-10 years, our weaknesses will become our strengths, bro. So your weaknesses are all your strongest things to improve. Like your weaknesses give you urgency. The adversity gives you urgency. The constraints in your life give you urgency, and they're probably some of your greatest gifts. Like you're the underdog. There's an advantage to being an underdog. Like there's an advantage to having a chip on your shoulder. And oftentimes all the things that you think you're good at that's all resistance. But like
I'm glad you brought up the chip on your shoulder thing. A lot of people kind of take that in a misconception. They're like, yo, this person has a chip on his shoulder, so he's a little too, like, he'll take it a little too overboard. That's wrong though. Having a competitive, huh?
We don't believe in overboard.
No, exactly. There's a misconception to that.
You know what Akash's name is?
What?
Akash's name. So his name is Akash Over Deliver Panus. That's his name. His middle name is Over Deliver.
100%. That's my middle name.
That's the reason why I say,
it's on his birth certificate.
The reason why I say it's a misconception is because people think that person's going to be either too competitive, arrogant, all that stuff. No, that person knows his worth. That again, that's not ego though. That's not ego. that person knows where he needs to prioritize his time, his investments, and all that stuff. So when it comes down to, let's say, a normal person, I mean, like me, and I approach Gary Vee, right? And I tell him, hey, Gary Vee, man, I got this solid agency. I need your help, all right? He is not going to sit down and talk to me, all right? Because unless I actually prove to him I am worth his time, you know? I'm not saying you have to get to that point or anything, but you have to have certain things that you can present to people like Gary Vee that can actually like make sense to him. You know, I can't approach him right now and tell him like, yo, I have this, you know, digital marketing agency. We need help. No, he's going to want more information. He's going to want to know the investments because these people are smart. You guys, I wouldn't call that ego personally. I would call that him trying to actually evaluate a business that if personally I'm asking for an investment, he's going to want to know everything. So these are there's going to be certain things that are going to come along the way to where, yeah, your ego will come in the middle. But I certainly think that that's something that just needs to internally die. Like, you can't let that thing live on.
It comes down, our three main pillars are 100% work ethic, 100% student mentality, and 100% attitude, right?
Positive attitude. Positive,
bro. Positive.
Obviously, I'm glad.
Oh my God, I didn't even know what work ethic was until like maybe 2 years ago.
So I mean,
these two guys
the
right here.
mentality part of it is because a lot of people, whenever you start, for example, people very rarely it's tough for them to take advice. Like, so whenever you hear people like, oh, I've been doing this for 10 years, who the fuck are you to tell me what to? All right, bro. I mean,
yeah.
Okay, like,
but when they say when they say your 20s are your ages to learn, and they say become a sponge, they want you to become a sponge for knowledge. Soak up any type of information that is making sense to you and utilize it.
Oh,
like,
we're not gonna stop in our 20s. That's the main.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like, be a sponge now. Be a sponge now and continue moving forward, forever. You know,
forever and ever.
Walk into a room, you don't know anything at all times.
We wake up at 5, and the first thing that we do in the morning, other than do some physical exercise because health is fucking important to being a high performance team. Second is training. Like, we do training every single morning. We fucking learn something new. Like, and so if we invest in our body and we invest in our brain every single fucking morning, like mind, body, spirit, bro. And then we come in and do our spirit, and then we dominate do this morning podcast, and then we also run a marketing agency, so it's not like this is our only fucking. We dress up, we do a podcast, we go back to sleep. Like, we do this morning podcast.
And it's funny because I didn't mean to cut you off, but like you know, a lot of people they ask me about my schedule, right? And we talked about our schedule yesterday, just between the three of us, and it's funny because whenever people initially hear my schedule and they hear what I'm doing, right? Like, the immediate thought that comes to their mind is all like, man, look at this douchebag, bro. Who the fuck does he think he is? He's fucking thinking he's an entrepreneur, like putting in like 14 hours a day. Not just Monday through Friday, by the way. You know, we work Saturdays as well, you know, because we're not pussies. But, like 70 minimum hours a week, you know, like putting in that much effort. Oh, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And a lot of people, like, when it comes to mind, right, it comes to mind, like, what motivates me, right? And it's something that's always stuck for me that someone told me about 2 years ago, right? His name is Tommy Smith. He's a vice president at a pretty big marketing organization. And what he said is, whenever you think about legacy, right? Omar just mentioned death, right? You just mentioned, when you die. Whenever you die, a lot of people just think about death as, okay, cool, you die, you go, 6 feet under, whatever it is, right? You die twice in life, okay? You die once, obviously, when you go 6 feet under. The second time you die is when someone says your name for the last time. How long is your legacy gonna last? You know? Like, I want that shit ingrained in generations to come from now. Like my entire family should, like my great grandchildren are gonna be like, we have these resources now because he set them up for us. He grinded his way up. He bought the fucking rockets, 30 years from the day that he started his agency.
I don't know if Amon even knows this, but one of my biggest goals, and I'm gonna say it out loud, is now when I say this, I'll explain too, but I want to paint my name on the city of Houston. What that means is I want to have a staple in this city to where people can go to or people can talk about, and they think of me, or they think of my business, or they think of my craft, they think of my name, you know, to where I had that thing is stuck in this city, not just in my family, for my great grandchildren to find out. No, I want any motherfucker that lands in Houston, out of Bush Airport, Hobby Airport, whatever, and he goes to that place and he sees my name or our name on there, all right? Because we own the Rockets, okay, and we have something else in Houston or in any other fucking city in America to where they know who we are.
Quick side note. When Omer first moved to San Diego, we were going through his goals, right? And the first thing he told me, he was like, bro, so I love Houston, right? And I want the city of Houston to build a freaking statue of me, and I want a penthouse where I have a view of it. And I was all like, I don't even need to motivate this guy, bro. This is gonna be the easiest guy to train in the world, you know?
It's gonna be the biggest statue made, bro.
But everyone, whenever people talk about manifesting and visualization and law of attraction and all that shit, everyone thinks about the outcome, which is the fucking wrong way to do it. You gotta think about the hours that all the moments that you're like, why the fuck am I doing this? And then you do it anyway. That's what is gonna, so that's what you need to be focusing on. And even when it comes back to ego, the second thing is you have to be super humble. Like anytime you accomplish anything, it's not, you didn't fucking do it by yourself. There's no such thing as a self-made anything. No one is self-made, bro. You had all the opportunities that were given to you, and more importantly, all the opportunities that weren't given to you.
And like, all the resources around you. Don't ignore those. There's so many resources out there.
For even things like, for example, like I grew up in a 2-parent family, bro. That's huge. That's huge. And like people don't, I mean, things like little things like so a lot of things, and don't fucking apologize for the opportunities you've been given. I'm never gonna apologize for the opportunity you've been given. And also don't apologize. Don't ever be insecure about the weaknesses you have, because those weaknesses, they're all opportunities for improvement. Man.
Your weaknesses need to turn into your strengths. They need to, your insecurities need to leave your body.
It brings up a sense of resistance, right? So we talk about resistance a lot. Like even this morning, like we didn't wake up on time, right? Like I woke up at 4. I set my alarm for 4. It's not like I didn't wake up. And me and Akash, like when we mentioned earlier, me and Akash have been having like this battle where it's like, yo, who's gonna send a picture of their bed made first and things like that. So, you know, we're like, it's a form of resistance. So I was like, oh shit, I woke up, Akash hasn't sent his picture of his bed, I got 30 more minutes, you know? So it's like, it's always this thing that I hear, you know, it's like the devil whispers, right? I'm sure you guys have heard this story, you know? You're not strong enough to withstand the storm. That's what the devil whispers. The devil whispers, you're not strong enough to withstand the storm. And you reply back, motherfucker, I am the storm, you know?
Oh my god, that hit, bro. Oh shit, bro. No, there's. I mean, another thing is like the concept of micro resistance. It's the like greatness is in the little things. You know what I'm saying? So how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're like, you can't be like really, if you're not cleaning your room, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be excellent at work. When you're wiping down your kitchen table, do you wipe under all the appliances or do you just wipe around them? Right? It's so when you're, so it's the little things that you do, the little 1% gains you do here and there. It defines the kind of person that you're gonna be, and how you do anything is how you do everything. So like you can't compartmentalize your life and be like, I'm gonna be really excellent here, but I'm gonna be a really shitty dad. Like it's everything. It's gonna.
Why'd you have to put it down?
It's gonna be everything is interrelated, and the energy that you get from being a father it goes into the energy that you can put into work. And the energy.
No, it's true. So, like if you're a dad and you had a shitty day at work and you come home and you're like, you know, daughter or son comes at you and just touches your leg and that triggers you, and so you tell him like fuck off. Like come on, man, like. He or she's just a kid. Like, yo, you can't let that's letting your emotions, letting your, you know, frustration kind of out on somebody else, and that's still part of an ego because you're putting something that's put on you. It could be anything. It could be like, you know, workload, whatever. But you like projectiling it towards somebody else, somebody that's so innocent to where they had nothing to do with it, and you're putting the blame on them rather than putting the responsibility back on yourself, telling yourself, yeah, that's my work. I need to get that done. These are my kids. I need to spend time with them. I can't tell them to fuck off, even though sometimes you might really, really want to.
Yeah, I mean, so I think the best way to put it is, again, everything that you, I think we talked about this time, we touched on it yesterday. The best way to frame ego is like everything that you're doing, you have to think about the consequences that it has on how many other lives that you're touching. So like whenever I'm like, whenever, for example, if you're leading a team, like not, of course, you have to be excellent because you want your business to grow or whatever. But more importantly, it's you have to be excellent because those people you're a role model for these people, right? So like, if you're not excellent, they're not going to be excellent. If you're not excellent and they're not excellent, then your business is not going to be excellent. That's like they might lose their jobs. Like you're responsible for their families. You're responsible for your family. You're responsible for upbringing. How, say you have 2 children, you're responsible for raising 2 independent, autonomous adults and then putting them into the world and then all the lives that they will touch. So like, it's the butterfly effect, bro. Like there's direct and then there's indirect, and then you're touching the amount of lives that you touch throughout your life, and then the amount of lives that they touch, it's going to compound into like the millions, if not the billions. So
damn, it's crazy how you brought up the butterfly effect. That movie is one of my, I mean, I don't know if your mom and dad have seen it, but it is a family movie. But if you watch it, it's like my parents' favorite movie, because it actually does, again, it explains a lot of the effects of what it has to certain things. Like your actions have consequences.
Yeah, and exactly. And consequences that you never expect. So
exactly.
Like always be in the moment and always be excellent and like always do everything that you can control, because you never know where the shitty consequences will end up, who you'll end up affecting. Like if you're having a shitty day at work and blah 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 blah, like, and you take it out on the fucking guy at McDonald's, like that you don't know how, you know what I'm saying? Like like it's not good, bro. So it's your job to be great, just because it's your, I mean, another thing that we talk about is you have to be selfish to be selfless. So like you being the one of my favorite, my favorite poem of all time, right, is our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be beautiful, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who am I not to be? I am a child of God. My playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that others won't feel insecure around me. I was born to manifest the glory of God within me. As I let my own light shine, I automatically give others the permission to do the same. And as I am liberated from my own fears, my presence automatically liberates others. So when you become great, bro, your friends can't help but fucking be like, they're not gonna just sit and be like, let you, be successful, and they're gonna be fucking bums. So like, by you being great, you're lifting up the people around you. I mean, not even like, of course it helps that like, you're going to be able to do more for your parents. You're going to be able to do more for your community. You're going to be able to do more for your kids. But like, that's directly, but indirectly, just being an inspiration, I think, is a lot more, that's all life is. Like, who do you
inspire? I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys. The other day, a friend of mine, she was watching this podcast, the one that we do later in the day, A Lost and Blossom. And she saw like our rooms, how the table was set up and everything. And she texted me saying like, yo, I was motivated. You guys inspired me to have my own workstation to where I'm working on my own thing. And I was like, yeah, that's badass. And I felt so humbled. I was like, holy shit. I wanted to text in the group chat, but there was some other personal stuff. So I was like, holy shit, like, we inspired somebody, like that's inspiration. Even if one person out of 5 people watch that shit, I'm not gonna lie, that motivates me more, to where, if that one person can text me saying, yo, you guys inspired me, and thank you for the inspiration, like word for word, I'm gonna like work harder to inspire more. If not one every week, maybe like at least one every 2 months probably. But that's still someone.
My only goal in life is like, if I can inspire one fucking person the way that Kobe, the way that Gary Vee, the way that Conor McGregor, the way that Michael Jordan, the way that these people inspired me, then I've done my job. You know what I'm saying? Because I think the amount of people you inspire help a lot. I mean, it's a lot more important than the amount of money that you contribute. You know, philanthropy. Like, of course, I want to do philanthropy and like contribute money and all that shit, but it's way more important that you become an inspiration and
100%.
help others be great. And the thing is, like, this is always going to be, people are only inspired that by things that they saw firsthand. Like, Will Chamberlain was great, you know, 100 years ago. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, Alexander the Great was inspirational, like, 500 or 1,000 years ago. Like, I don't give a fuck. But like, if you see people in contemporary people doing it, so like that's why it's like I have to be like, Kobe's not going to inspire my kids because my kids never saw Kobe. So like, I have to be great to inspire the next generation. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's it. So it's literally all about, dude, fight for the people, fight for those who come after you. And I think that's a good way to wrap up, because we've been fucking rambling for an hour now. But I mean, I love this topic.
Yeah. No, definitely. But yeah, this is it for the one and only podcast brought to you by Savages for Savages, Unrealistic, where
Be
unrealistic
savage,
goals become reality. All right, guys, stay blessed out there.
and stay savage.
Stay savage, deuce.